Brilliance Audio presents The Crumpled Letter by Alice Quinn, translated by Alexandra Maldwin Davies, performed by Elizabeth Nalden. The very same morning of this hideous crime, without having the foggiest idea that my destiny was tied irrevocably with that of this poor young girl, I walked at a brisk pace under the strong winter sun. I had my own worries and demons to chase, you understand. Clasping a torn-off piece of paper, I crossed the passenger footbridge over the railway line at the town station. It was dusty underfoot. February tends to be a clear and dry month in this part of the world, and this one was no different, for there had been no rain for several weeks. I was coming from my dreary boarding house, from a room I had been calling home for 9 months now, since my hasty departure from the residence of Lady Sarah Clarence. It was my refuge, somewhere to lick my wounds, a place to hide away from my humiliation and distress. Lady Sarah... No, I mustn't think about her. Not now. I scurried along the coastal streets toward the Villa Les Pavots, the address in the advertisement. It stated, seeking an educated and distinguished member of staff for the giving of astute cultural advice and guidance. Please apply directly and in person to Mademoiselle Philomena Gilliot, Villa Les Pavots, Chemin Vassenal Saint-Nicolas. Perhaps this was my destiny, here on this very page, between an endorsement for an anti-consumption tincture and a proposal to acquire a townhouse on the Croisette. I had no idea how much this meeting would turn my life upside down. It was one of those defining moments. So, this Philomena woman must be the governess of the house, possibly Italian? I took off my gloves and hat. It was quite a steep climb up to the villa, and I wanted to feel a little more at ease. My hair was tied up in a braid and was starting to come loose, partly because I was perspiring and partly due to the swift sea breeze. My hair, which has been described as strawberry blonde, fell into strands about my unadorned neck and ears. Fortunately, I was wearing a dress that cleared my ankles, which meant it stayed free of the dust and dirt from the streets just that much more. I was walking through a newly constructed neighbourhood, not far from the Boulevard de la Foncière, which, until recently, had been deeply entrenched in the countryside. Real estate speculation had provoked an economic crisis in the region, and bankruptcy was now rife among the local population, particularly in Cannes. Who could have guessed that what was nothing more than a small fishing village just a few decades earlier would become a city brimming with unscrupulous profit-seekers? Banks closed down, shops were selling goods at a loss, and families taken in by the illusion of it all lost their very honour. But here, just next to the main boulevard, traces of the old life could still be spotted. The divine scents of olive trees, tiny orange groves, and oleanders filled the air, despite the coal fumes from the nearby train station. I strode past the Montplaisir private hotel on my left and the convent on my right. The small coastal road took me as far as the monumental Hôtel Central. As I passed the majestic gateway in front of the gardens, I came upon a group of very slight, pale children, orphans, I imagined, walking 2 by 2 in their matching black capes. At the front of the line, 2 energetic nuns bounced along the pavement. I stopped, wiped my brow, and continued uphill. And then, there it was, the Villa Les Pavots.